everybody. Welcome to another Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for liking, subscribing, and following as well. It really helps to spread the word. And fact is, if you don't do it, we don't do it. Sort of how it works, right? Now, to the news. Britain has announced a new aid package to Ukraine. No bullets, no bombs, no drones. It's $27 million to help repair the energy grid and $7.6 million in humanitarian assistance. Now, that kind of help is almost as important as bullets and bombs. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, Russia is not winning this war. They will not win this war. And he said Ukrainian and European freedom will endure. Way to go. Good to see Europe standing up for itself. The Northeast blizzard of 26. Right now, 40 million people in the Northeast are dealing with snow from the blizzard. 25,000 airline flights have been canceled or delayed. Heavy snow, gale force, sometimes hurricane force winds, huge drifts. Some places got 4 inches of snow. A lot of places got 28 inches of actual snowfall. Pagoda, New Jersey, 29 inches. Warwick, Rhode Island, 36 inches. You'd think you were in Alaska or Canada. Massachusetts was hit the hardest, not New York. So much snow in Boston that for the first time in 153 years, the Boston Globe did not get delivered this morning. The storm is moving on into the North Atlantic, but it has left behind tons of backbreaking work. Temperatures in the Northeast are in the 20s and the teens. It's below freezing all the way down to North Florida and throughout the Midwest, north to Canada. The western half of the U.S. is above freezing, mostly in the 40s. Of course, Florida is in pretty good shape. The highs today in the Northeast will be above freezing. Let the melt begin. The good news is, it's good news for the reservoirs. They will fill with water from snowmelt. Streams will rage. Some may flood in coming days. That also happens. There are always some, even in the best of crowds. Someone drew a swastika on a wall at the Coast Guard training facility in New Jersey. Command plans to find out who did it. President Trump has reacted poorly to the Supreme Court's decision that went against his tariffs. Trump said the justices got it wrong and that their decision was ridiculous, dumb, and internationally divisive, said they ought to be ashamed of themselves. He was not nearly as incendiary and personally insulting or threatening as Democrats have been when they didn't like Supreme Court rulings. Remember the name-calling and the warnings from Chuck Schumer that justices would reap the whirlwind, taken as an actual threat of violence against them. Still, it is unusual for a president to go on a tear like President Trump did, calling Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Jackson, and Elena Kagan a disgrace to the nation. He's sounding too much like a Democrat at the moment, and the Bar Association has called on him to tone it down. Probably a good idea. Right or wrong, the Supreme Court's tariff ruling is already causing some damage in the Trump economic expansion. In reaction to that ruling, the European Union quickly canceled its parliamentary vote to ratify the new trade deal with the U.S. It was a gigantic trade deal, much to our benefit. Why make a new deal if the mechanics of being able to order greater tariffs on another country is taken away from the president? The upshot of the ruling is this. The president can issue a blanket tariff, which he's done at 15% now. But the idea of 100% tariffs to force another country to lower their tariffs or to equalize them, that he can't do unless Congress specifically authorizes it. That's a wrench in the spokes for sure. And even though it's clearly effective and driving huge investments into the U.S., you and I both know the Democrats are never going to specifically authorize the president to do what he's been doing. They care a whole lot more about trying to win the midterm elections than they do about forcing a level trading field with competitors who have the upper hand against this country. Some black leaders are giving Gavin Newsom what for over some of his comments seen as racist and condescending by some. Newsom, who is constantly trying to build himself as a presidential candidate, told Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, "I'm like you," said his SAT score was only about 960, and like Dickens, he also has trouble reading. Well, black leaders on the right are saying he's tanked his career with racist comments like that. Newsom says that's not fair. He says he was really talking about his dyslexia, not really taking a shot at the intelligence of the black population, however it may have sounded. Now, Newsom's probably right. Looks to me like he was, more politics than racism in it. He was trying to show humanity, and it backfired a little. Big chips deal in the artificial intelligence world. Meta is acquiring 10% of chip maker AMD and will buy up to 6 gigawatts of AMD graphics processing units for AI data centers. This is after committing to buy millions of AI chips from NVIDIA. AMD already has a similar deal with OpenAI. Point being, all of them are real serious about AI. There's a report from Reuters. Iran is trying to buy supersonic anti-ship missiles from China because if the U.S. does decide to put Iran out of business for good militarily, it'll come largely from the Navy in the Persian Gulf, and they want to sink American ships. State of the Union speech coming up tonight. It's always important because it gives presidents the chance to tell us not just how they see the country doing, but how they are doing and what they are doing and why we ought to care. It's a pitch for support and understanding, and it's a pitch for support. He has a lot of good to talk about. I mean, we're not involved in any wars. We are involved in peace efforts everywhere, in particular in Gaza, where unbelievably the world is coming together to sign on to his plan to rebuild Gaza and to transform the Palestinian territory into a state that will recognize Israel and even better, do business and get along with Israel. It's still more dream than reality, but it's a real dream now with money and intent and picks and shovels. What remains is to remove the troublemakers, Hamas, which gets its support from Iran, which persists in its dream of building nuclear weapons specifically in order to destroy Israel and America for that matter. Iran looms large, and I'm sure it will tonight. And there are the midterm elections. President Trump will make his case for the unusual. What is usual is for midterm elections to take a swing towards the political opposition. It happens all the time. He'll be arguing, pleading with Republicans, conservatives, and moderates of all stripes and independents to stay the course and keep both houses of Congress in Republican hands, or else watch Democrats throw sand and rocks into the gears of progress and grind everything to a halt and go back to hounding him. It would change things. He will say it is the most important midterm election possibly ever, no matter which side of the aisle you stand on. He's probably right about that. I want to thank you for joining in on today's Harley on the Headlines. I want to thank you, too, for helping to spread the good word that you and I, are doing this together. I hope you will like, follow, subscribe, and urge others to do the same. Send some emails. That'll help. I mean, I do. It'd be better if you helped. I am Harley Carnes. We'll talk again soon. And in the meantime, do me and yourself a big favor. Be happy today. Make some good choices and decisions for your life. And fly safe. It is the only way to get there.